Mark, stay on the line, but I'm going to go ahead too and bring in Stacy Rush and Jeff Rainforth, who are involved, and I know they're kind of working with you as well on being able to tweet things out, but they are doing the hashtag Justice for Benghazi for Tweetfests. And so I want to bring Stacy and Jeff on. Did we just lose Stacy? Or Stacy, are you on there? Looks like maybe we...
Hi.
Oh, no, okay, I'm sorry. It said that you had left the conversation, so I thought, oh, no. Well, thank you, Stacy, for being on.
Thank you for having us, Sarah. We very much appreciate it. Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good evening, Stacy. Good to have you.
Hey, Mark.
And Jeff, are you around?
Yes,
Good.
I'm right here.
Jeff is in too. Fantastic. Well, thank you all for being on. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just provide an opportunity for people. You know, there's so many people out there who are so upset about Benghazi. I don't know if you listened to my monologue at the beginning, but really what I wanted to do, especially with your segment tonight, is give people who are upset with Benghazi, upset with the fact that we don't have answers, upset with the lack of movement in Congress. I wanted to provide them with a place where they can go and actually be able to make an impact. So, Stacy, tell me a little bit about how you got involved with Benghazi and what you're doing with this hashtag to really try to make sure that people keep Benghazi in the forefront.
Well, the way that I got involved was through my business partner. You all know him on Twitter as Boss Hog United States Marine Corps. And he was working, we have a social media company together, and Mark reached out to Boss to discuss some items as far as programming, as far as reaching more people are concerned. Then you add to that you've got Jeff Rainforth, who's on the line, who has a dear friend on Twitter as well, Wicked Huntress, and she actually came up with the concept of trending Benghazi. And Jeff, can you tell Sarah a little bit about how that originated?
Yes.
Yeah, that was after I had put together a list of Twitter and Facebook accounts for GOP reps who haven't supported the Benghazi Select Committee yet, and kind of was promoting that, to tweet your the House members to get behind the committee. Wicked Huntress on Twitter asked me. She's a good friend of mine. She asked me to actually, hey, you want to, get something started like a tweet fest every week where we trend Benghazi? And I said, sure, why not? And she actually did most of the legwork behind that. She got in touch with Boss Hog, USMC, with Stacy, and we reached out to people like Irritated Woman, a woman on Twitter, and it really started rolling from there. So I put a article on my website that we're going to do trend fests, and I think the first week was July 30th. And we actually trended it for 3 straight days. And
wow.
Got a shout out from Michelle Malkin. Gave a shout out to Boss Hog because we were all tweeting that it was starting, and Michelle saw that it was trending, and she's all, hey, Benghazi's trending again, and so I have all those pictures on my site of the tweets that we did in the original. That was July 30th of the original Tweet Fest. So that's how it got started. So just one person coming up and saying, hey, let's do this. And it went from there.
Wow, good. Well, what do you think the success has been when you look at Congress and where they're moving or not moving? And Mark, if you want to comment on this too, do you see that what's happening in the social media space is having any kind of an impact on what legislators do? Mark, do you want to take this one?
I'm trying to sort my thoughts out.
Okay.
The obvious answer is yes. If I didn't believe that, I wouldn't be investing in what I'm doing. Sure. But here's the thing: is what we are able to do is really what Twitter users are able to do. We're bringing everybody together and saying, let's focus on this issue and let's raise it to a menu item on the public conversation on Twitter. Okay, so then you have the groups like Justice for Benghazi 4 that's focused on those who have not signed. You've got Patriot Journalist Network focused on those who have. These congressional reps cannot help but pay attention to all this Twitter traffic that's coming across the line. They'd be stupid to ignore it. Now, I will say that I believe personally what happened is during the recess, they went home and found out that it wasn't just a marginalized group of crazies doing this, that this was a legitimate concern for the American public. And once the topic gets trending like that, people pile on.
Right.
People jump on a moving train. It's hard to get a train moving, but it's darn hard to stop it once you get it moving.
Exactly.
And I think that has translated into legislative activity, that we've had numerous co-signers just in the past couple of days on H.R. 36, which is the bill to create this select committee.
Right. Well, and I know that's the next question I was going to ask is the goal really with this H.R. 36 is to create a select committee so that we can get answers and move forward. And people like John Boehner and Eric Cantor and Paul Ryan are all making sure that this doesn't happen. Now, here's the thing that's kind of interesting. I had Patrick Poole on one of my shows a couple weeks ago, who's on Glenn Beck all the time, and he knows what's going on in the Middle East. He says the reason that they won't move forward with this select committee is because Boehner and Cantor and leadership knew about what was going on in Benghazi. And so if they move forward... Exactly. So if they move forward with this committee, they're going to have to expose themselves, basically.
And you know, when you look at it, Sarah, and you look at, okay, you've got a couple of things. You have the House that has majority GOP. You have a president who is unbelievably unpopular right now. Who is trying to bring us into, Syria, where the public is absolutely against it. And what are they doing? And that's
probably another cover-up. If you really want to look at Syria, that's probably another cover-up.
Absolutely. If you want to link the two, I think you can definitely do that. And so why then would they not move forward with this? Over 70% of the population feel that the IRS and the AP scandals should be investigated further. Right. And yet Boehner and Cantor, and if you look at the House members who are leadership positions on the Intel committee as well, they would have been part of that Super 8 group, and they won't support it. So it honestly is the only thing that seems to make sense.
Jeff, what are your thoughts on this? Is this something where you've maybe even had, and I don't know if you've called your own congressman, if you have any feedback on where you feel this is going?
I think we're making progress. One member of Congress, Richard Hudson, actually tweeted me several times about the select committee, and because we tweet them out asking them to support it. And he said he believes that the select committee Pelosi would be in charge of it for some reason, and he said she'd get an equal number of seats in the committee, which is actually false. Pelosi is only consulted on 2 seats out of, I believe it's 7 seats on the select committee. Pelosi would consult with Boehner, and then she'd have that say about 2 Democrats who would be on the committee, but the other 5 are picked by the leadership. So there seems to be some miscommunication out there about what's going to happen with who will be leading it. And but I think what happened is once we teamed up with the Benghazi Trend Fest, teamed up with Mark that's here, Prasek from PJNet, and we really tied it all together. And Mark's been doing a lot of the legwork and getting in touch with members of Congress, etc. And we're seeing people switch positions and start to support H.R. 36.
Yeah.
So I think we're doing good.
Good. So
an interesting factoid, if I could, Sarah Marie, throw a little gas on your conspiracy fire. One of the traditions in the legislative process is the actual numbering of these bills as they're proposed. For example, the Keystone Pipeline was H.R. 3. It was given a high priority by the leadership to push through. Okay. A great bill that I would love to see prioritized is H.R. 1176 to end the cell phone part of the Obamacare phones and make it back to landlines. That was assigned number 1176. A great bill, but not given priority. Well, 36 is a pretty high priority. So when this was first introduced, if you want do a little conspiring or do some conspiracy theory speculation, it seems to me that when Boehner first got this, he gave it a nod, assigned it a very low number, thus high on the priority list. But something must have happened.
Well, and we've got to remember, too, when you look at Dear Eliza, all through the very beginning of the Benghazi hearings, he was on every news channel everywhere, every Sunday morning talk show. He was all over the place. And then late spring came where we had those, I think it was May hearings, where we kind of paraded everybody out and made a big deal out of it. And then it all just sort of went away. And it seems to me like there has to be more to this story. And I'm not into conspiracy theories. I mean, I'm really not. But when you look at it from a practical standpoint, when the GOP has such an opportunity to hang Obama in a proverbial political way, and then they just give it up. They don't even do it. And so there has to be a reason. And I do think it's because they knew what was going on. And so they can't really go forward with these hearings because they'll be outing themselves. I personally think that's probably where we are at this point. Stacy, tell me, if people want to get involved with your hashtag and to help to keep all of this in the forefront, where do they need to go to find out when you are doing all of this?
Okay, well, the first thing you can do is you can go to justiceforbenghazi4.com to tweet your representatives. Mark's made it entirely too easy to go on there, and with the click of 2 tweet buttons, you can let them know that you want them to support House Resolution 36 for the Select Committee that we were just discussing.
I actually did that today with a few of them. I used the website and went in there and did it. It's very easy. So if anybody wants to do that, it's a piece of cake.
It is. It's an absolute piece of cake. So I'd say that first. The hashtag that we trend most often is hashtag Justice for FOR Benghazi, the number 4. But tonight and on our September 11th, we are actually working on trending the hashtag 9/11 Benghazi 4. And so you can always just look that up on Twitter and you'll see all of our tweets. The other thing I'd like to do really quick, if you'll indulge me, is I want to give a shout out to the people who are tweeting often who make this possible, because
yes,
I think influence is one of the biggest things that you can have on Twitter. Number one, everyone's voice counts, and I think people need to understand that and get involved as much as they have the ability to. And these people tweet Benghazi, Justice for Benghazi 4, very often. And so the people that I wanted to recognize are at American Refugee, Christy Chat, and that's CHRISTI, Rock Princess 818, Lexi Lewis 888, obviously Jeff I Resist All, BC Williams 92, Wicked Huntress, GOP Bunny, Spread Butter, Boss Hog United States Marine Corps, that's just USMC, Irritated Woman, and last but certainly not least, Cub Fan Beer Guy, who's been absolutely instrumental in this. And so if you follow any of those people, and if I left anyone out who normally does, that was not by design, my apologies. But these are some of the people who do it often, and they have a great deal of influence, and they get lots of retweets, and it gets lots of attention. And so if you follow any one of those people, you can join in on the hashtag. We do it Tuesdays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Wonderful. Well, guys, I'm up against a hard break, so I'm going to have to let you go it. But I am so glad that you came on tonight to let people know how they can get involved. So thank you to all three of you for being with us. And certainly if there's ever anything that I can do, feel free to send me a tweet. I'll be happy to help.
Great. Thanks, Sarah.
Sarah Marie.
Mark,
thank
Stacy.
you.
Cool.
We will be right back after a quick break.